Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. Thank you for joining me this morning. I've been getting a lot of questions about how I actually use the things that have been coming from our garden. So today I've got a little recipe that will be using almost all ingredients from our garden. Everything for this recipe, all the vegetables will be growing in our garden, but they're just not all in harvest. So I am making a cucumber radish salad using the radishes and dill from my garden. Cucumbers aren't ready yet, but they will be soon. The first step in making this salad is to slice up your radishes. And because radishes are such a juicy vegetable, we're going to put them in a bowl on the side and sprinkle them with some salt. I know I have mentioned on my Instagram, but not in a YouTube video, that we try to use every single part of every vegetable. So these greens that I'm trimming off, they are good in salads if you like a nice spicy green. Most people don't think of using radish greens, but we also feed them to our guinea pigs. We have 2 guinea pigs, and we take them out to graze on clover whenever the weather's nice because they love grazing. Did you know guinea pigs like to graze? They love grass and they love clover. Our guinea pigs are a little bit picky and they don't like when we bring them grass, but they love to go hang out in the yard and munch, munch, munch. But we will be feeding the radish greens because my kiddos are not real big fans of spicy salad greens. We'll be feeding our radish greens to our guinea pigs. And while that may not seem to do much as far as our homestead, it does put every single bit of the vegetable to good use. We're not wasting. That's less of another vegetable that we would feed our guinea pigs because we feed them, we do give them some pellets and some dried hay, but we also give them fresh vegetables every day because it's so much better for their health than just plain processed pellets. Not every veggie that comes from the garden is going to be really pretty. This one, it's got a little bit of slug damage. You slice it off. The rest of the vegetable is great. A lot of my radishes have cracks in them, and that cracked radishes are caused by uneven watering typically, and that is because if you have watched any of my gardening videos, you have seen that we have had so much rain, tons of rain. So far, after the initial, once things sprouted and got root, it didn't damage anything like it did earlier in the gardening season, but it sure did make some great big splits because we have nice hot weather and then a couple days of pouring rain. And radishes aren't huge fans of deluge of rain like that. So we have all our sliced up radishes, and this is pink Himalayan salt. You can use any salt. We prefer sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. I just get the huge things and refill my containers. And you just toss the radishes in the salt. It's going to suck out a little bit of the extra moisture so they won't get soggy in the salad. Set them off to the side. Wipe that salt off my hands. We don't want the, pardon me, we don't want the salad being too salty. This is a cucumber. I'm going to need about 1 cup of cucumber slices. We are growing cucumbers in the garden, but they're not in fruit yet. So for now, we will utilize what our local grocery store has to offer. A couple of the farmers markets locally have some farmers who have greenhouses that have some earlier cucumbers. Put that over here so you can see how it's working up. Could use a little bit more. Try another half. But soon we will have our own cucumbers to use for the salad as well. Next we have a red onion. This is another thing that is planted in the garden but is not ready for harvest yet. So I will utilize what the store has for me. I'm going to cut it up in really thin slices, half rings, since I cut the onion in half. I just find it makes it easier to slice on the cutting board instead of worrying about it round. If you have a mandolin or something, slicing this on a mandolin would be crazy easy. I like to break them up a little bit. Use a little bit more. It depends on your family's taste. You can do a lot or a little. I let my kids just pick it out, and in general, they're all right with some onion there. And they can take it out if they don't like it. There we go. Alright, and next up we have dill. This is dill fresh from the garden, and our dill is just still tiny and new, but I went through and on the biggest plants cut off a couple of the biggest bits of dill, and I left most of what's there. You can use a teaspoon to a tablespoon of fresh dill. I really love dill, so I use about a tablespoon there. Alright, now we need to make the vinaigrette. The radishes are still soaking. All the veggies are cut up. Using some organic extra virgin olive oil. Nothing fancy. And this is our local store brand of essentially Bragg's apple cider vinegar. You can use a white wine vinegar if you're not a huge fan of the apple cider vinegar flavor. And we're going to do equal parts of oil and vinegar because we're making a vinaigrette dressing for it. There we go. And a little bit of salt and pepper each, probably about a half teaspoon. I don't actually measure most things, I just go by how it looks. And I much prefer the fresh ground black pepper, even though it's kind of a pain in the butt to sit here twisting this thing. The flavor is so much better. So that looks good. Do more or less depending on your taste. And then I just whisk until it's all kind of emulsified together. If you have an immersion blender, that would be really handy for this. If you don't, use a whisk. Or a blender in general. Put this in the blender. There we go. Looks thoroughly combined. Now pour it over these veggies. Scrape out all the black pepper and stuff that's in there. Miss out on that flavor. And now our radish has been soaking. I'm going to give them a quick rinse in the sink and strain them to get the water off, and then dump them in. And there you have it. It is super quick, super easy. Probably would have been faster if I wasn't standing here talking through the whole thing. But every single one of these things is growing in my garden. And it's healthy, it's It's nutritious. It's kid-friendly. You can take out some of the onions if your family doesn't like onions. You could replace it with some crushed garlic in that vinaigrette if your family likes garlic instead of onions. Mix and match the flavors to work for your family. It's really delicious, easy salad grown with really common farmers market and garden ingredients. Thank you so much for sticking around for this recipe video today, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it. And if you'd like to see more videos like this or anything else I have to offer on my channel, please subscribe so that you will get a notification when I post another video. Have a great afternoon, friends. Bye-bye.